Hare Krishna. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Mukhaṁ karoti vācālam pangum langayate girim Yatkrupātamaham vande Shri Anandamādhavam Shri Chaitanyamīśwaram. Namah Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamini Namine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasati Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Yoda Pravishya Mamavajinam Prasattam Sanjeevayat Agara Shakti Dhara Swadhamnam Hanyam Sahasrana Shravanatvagadim Namo Bhagavate Purushaya Dubhyam. Hare Krishna. Welcome to everybody for today's session. We are supposed to cover all the 18 chapters. And then I don't know how fast I can go, so I will just slowly go. How many other chapters we can finish? That many chapters we'll finish today in an hour's time, and then we'll take it up the next time again. Okay, we'll be in touch or WhatsApp and inform you, and you can come for the classes regularly. Thank you. Hare Krishna. So very few participants have come today. I don't know if I have to wait for some time or start off. It's better to start off. Hare Krishna. 1 second. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram. So we will start with the first chapter. We have seen the first chapter was named Observing the Armies on Battlefield of Kurukshetra, and how we have divided this chapter into 4 portions in such a way that we will be able to understand what is the subject matter of this chapter. And setting the scene, we read about Dhritarashtra's mindset and Duryodhana's mindset. Dhritarashtra was very doubtful because he was aware of the influence of the holy place of Kurukshetra. And he knew that actually he wanted to see, even though Pandavas and Kauravas were one family, but then he wanted to segregate Pandu's sons and my sons. That was the mindset that Dhritarashtra was in. And then Duryodhana was having another mindset. He was thinking that, okay, I will, he is, inspiring Bhishma Dev. He's inspiring Bhishma, saying that, see, how many people have come. There are very less people, we are more in number. And, people like you are here. And then people like Karna, people like persons like Dronacharya, or in our side, there only one Arjuna is there to fight. He was trying to inspire. Same time, at the same time, he was also trying to boast himself that how we are so great. Actually, one sentence Duryodhana uttered at this time unnecessarily, which actually caught hold of him, his destiny. He said, Madarthe Tekta Jivita. Look at these people who have come to give up their life for my sake. So it became true. He himself said everybody is going to give up their life. So it became true actually. So we should not unnecessarily speak. This shows that we should not unnecessarily speak things like this, inauspicious things. We should never speak inauspiciously. We should speak only auspicious and good things. Then we saw how Krishna was all auspicious, and because Krishna's presence was all auspicious, so signs of victory was on the side of Pandavas. Means like when Lakshmi is also there, good fortune is there, and we also said, how Agnidev was given this particular chariot, and Hanuman's presence was there. All this ensures this victory of Pandavas. And then the third portion was dealing with Lord loves his devotees. How much Krishna loves his devotees. He will never let the devotees fail at any stage. So this is like a very so Achyuta means a person who never who never fails in his efforts. Sorry, 1 second. Something has come up in between. So here is how the Lord loves his devotees. And he is Achyuta, he is eternal and he never fails. He never fails his devotees, contrary to the relationship we have in the material world. The material world, we only fail because everybody has to die. So therefore, we cannot depend on anybody. We can never think our parents will be there forever with us. We can never think our children will be there forever with us. So these are all things that is, there are so many uncertainties. But whereas the Lord is, the Lord will never. There is no uncertainty. The Lord will never fail to protect his devotees. And the Lord is so sweet and transcendental that he even agrees to serve the devotees, like how he served Nanda Maharaj Yashoda in Vrindavan, how he is serving Arjuna now in the battlefield of Kurukshetra. And the relationship in the material world is totally different. You cannot believe 100%. That life lesson was like Bhagavad-gītā is key to happiness. Therefore, establish relationship with one who is infallible. If you want happiness, you will get it from Bhagavad-gītā, because we have a continuous relationship with the Lord who is infallible. So that itself is a great point. And then the miseries of life was highlighted, and how Arjuna was showing the symptoms of stress. His hand and his leg was shivering, and he was totally confused. He was not able to hold the Gandiva. His mouth was drying up, and he couldn't speak a word. He was totally under stress. And then he was just, then we discussed about the 3 types of miseries that undergoes, Adhyatmika, Adibhaudika, Adidevika kleshas. Adhyatmika means the misery arising out of our own mind and body. Adi Bhaudika means the misery that is arising out of other living entities to us. And Adi Devika means the misery that is arising out of natural calamities and things like that. So three types of miseries are there, and always we can expect some, unexpected, obstacles or problems. So that offers the greatest misery of life. So therefore, because of all these issues, his mind was totally disturbed, and he decided not to fight. So the life lesson is, when Arjuna decided not to fight, Krishna spoke Bhagavad-gītā, and finally at the end of listening to Bhagavad-gītā, Arjuna decides, yes, I will do it. That means he knew, he was awakened to his duties, and he was able to make a proper decision. So Bhagavad-gītā is excellent guide in decision making. So this is what we read in first chapter. Second chapter goes with crisis management, my real identity, true duties, and sustained happiness. Crisis management. I hope as you hear all these things, you remember those days when we had that class on second chapter, right? So the crisis management. Crisis develops when we are not able to decide what to do, what not to do, and whether to follow our duty or not to follow our duty, which is better, winning or losing. In Arjuna's case, he was actually thinking, by winning, we will be killing all our relatives. By losing, we will be showing our mercy, our love towards the relatives. So, after all, they are my brothers, cousins, father, grandfather, and guru. Let them win. Why I should fight? He was not. At the same time, he knew that by not fighting, he will be not following his duty. Whether to follow the duty or to let them win. This was the confusion. He was not able to decide. We all have this kind of a, confusion in our lives at various stages, actually. So when one loses, the lesson we learn from this is, when we lose the ability to discriminate between right and wrong due to attachment. It's all due to attachment. Arjuna knew very well what his duty is. And he can perform the duty, right? He was not able to perform the duty because he was attached to his relatives. So attachment, in one sense, it is good. If it is nourishing, it is good. The father, mother attach the children for the nourishment of the children, it's very good. But whereas if the father is attached to a person who has done some mistake, and then not punishing him and saving him from that trap, means like saving him from that. He is already guilty, but he is trying to save him unlawfully, and that attachment is very bad for the son. Remember, we heard the story of a person who was pampered by his mother's sister, and because of her, she was never, because the sister passed away, and the responsibility of looking after the child was with the sister, mother's sister, and then she catered to all his desires. Finally landed up in big criminal act, and then he was punished to death sentence. And then judge asked, remember this story, judge asked, it's a real life story that happened in Calcutta. The judge asked him if you have any final desire to be fulfilled. Then he said, I want to see my auntie, who brought me up like my mother. And then auntie came and asked auntie to come nearby, and he just bitten off the ears of the auntie, saying that it's because of you I am suffering now. Right from the childhood, you never told me what is right and what is wrong. And whenever I had some wrong desires to fulfill, you are supporting. So that kind of attachment is not good, actually. Attachment will actually kill our good habit, our character. So therefore, it's very, very dangerous. So we are not able to make a decision because of attachment. That is going to land us up in trouble. And that too, when we know very well that we are not doing our duties properly. In that case, it's better to surrender to a person who is, who will be actually able to help us out. So here in this case, Arjuna, he realizes, he realizes that he's weak. Karpanya dosho bhagatasya bhava. That sloka, if you remember, the sloka, Arjuna is saying that I'm very confused now. What to do, Krishna? He understood his weakness, and then what happened? Then he takes shelter of Krishna. Oh Krishna, Shishyasteham Shadimam Tam Prapanna. Now I surrender to you as I am your disciple, surrendered disciple. Please instruct me. Then Krishna takes the reign of that relationship as a guru. So far, Arjuna was dealing with Krishna as his friend, but now Krishna has assumed the position of guru, because the guru is having a duty to properly guide the disciple. So he cannot, and when he became spiritual master, when Arjuna surrendered, and the knowledge transfer takes place. If you challenge the master, if you challenge the teacher cannot transfer the knowledge to you. Whereas if you submissively surrender to the teacher and say, whatever, I don't know anything, you please teach me, I will learn everything. Then there can be knowledge transfer. Like some people, when they start learning itself, they close their mind with a lid of ignorance. When we close the lid of our mind with, we close the mind with a lid of ignorance, then no knowledge will fall inside. Imagine if there is a closed bottle and water is poured on that, water will all go out only. Not even one drop of water can go into the bottle. So knowledge transfer has to take place, means the lid has to be open, means we have to be open to whatever we are going to learn. So life lesson was that a difficult decision making situation, consult perfect authority. Don't consult somebody who is not competent. We should actually take shelter of a competent authority. And whatever good I see in me, then you have to realize this. You cannot be proud of your relationship, or proud of your beauty, knowledge, wealth, or anything, because we should know that we should realize that whatever good I see in me is because Krishna shares a spark of his opulence with me. So, second portion was about my real identity. We learned so many things in this composition of myself and evidences of existence of the soul. Composition, we heard about gross body, subtle body, and the soul. Soul is made up of Satchidananda Vigraha, eternal, whereas subtle body is not eternal, but it continues, it goes beyond this birth and death, mind, intelligence, and ego. And then the gross body is made up of, it is very temporary, it is destroyed at death, and this gross body is made up of earth, water, fire, air, ether, 5 elements of material existence. Then we in this we heard that from Krishna, Dehenosmidha Kaumaram Yoganam Chara, we are different from this body. We are not this body. We are different from this body. We have 2 bodies. One body is gross body, another body is subtle body. Subtle body comprises mind, intelligence, and ego, and gross body consists of earth, water, fire, air, ether, and that composes the senses. So Atma is eternal, whereas his bodies are temporary. We are not these bodies. We are not subtle body. We are not gross body. We are pure spirit soul, part and parcel of Krishna. Being part and parcel of Krishna, we are also Satchit Ananda Vigraha. Satchit Ananda. Sat means knowledge, eternal knowledge. Sat means eternal existence. Chit means eternal knowledge, and Ananda means happiness, bliss. And then we saw the greatest evidence for the existence of the soul is a common sense understanding of every individual. They are changing. Krishna says, so many examples, common sense examples, how we change our body in this life. Similarly, at the time of death, from boyhood to from childhood to boyhood to old age, youth to old age. Similarly, at the time of death, we will change this body to another body. And where do we go in another body? According to our situation, according to our desires, according to how we kept our mind, ego, and intelligence. And to that level, we get another body. So this is a common sense. Then he says, Vasam Sanjirnani Dahya. Another sloka he says, saying that just like we are giving up the old dress and wearing new ones, similarly we give up our old set of activities in this body and then take to new set of activities and the next body. So then that is common sense examples. And if somebody doesn't have that, it's very difficult to understand. They keep arguing, soul is not there, this is not there, that is not there. But Krishna has made it very, very easy for us to understand. And many people undergo this near-death experience. They go up to death and come back. From them we know there are so many, if you Google near-death experience, there are hundreds of it appearing there. So that's a proof, evidence. An outer-body experience, sometimes near the operation theater, the doctor comes and operates us, and we happen to, sometimes people report after coming back to life, they report that, when the doctor was doing the operation, that I was able to see it, I was able to hear what they're talking. But actually the body was unconscious. And then past life memories. Some people have memories of past life. So the life lesson we learn from that is I cannot escape my miseries by exploiting or damaging or destroying my body. By destroying my body, I cannot escape. I have so much misery, so many problems, therefore I am going to kill my body. But if you kill the body also, the subtle body continues with the soul, and the problem is double, triple, 100 times intensifies. The problem intensifies because we feel hunger, thirst, sleep, everything within the mind, and the body is instrument to fulfill those desires. And the body is not there means what will happen? The body cannot fulfill the desire of eating, of hunger, thirst. All that cannot be quenched, or that cannot be satisfied. Therefore, the misery will be more. Manifold miseries will have to try. Will have to undergo. The trail of miseries we have to undergo. Therefore, we should not kill ourselves prematurely. Committing suicide is a big foolishness because we cannot kill the soul. We can only kill the body. Once a person kills the body at the age of 40, and if he is supposed to live for 80 years, and the rest of the 40 years, they will never get a body, proper body. Therefore, they will suffer. And then we learned about two duties. The two duties, duty towards the body and duty towards the soul. Now that we know that we are not this body, we are spirit soul, we have duty towards the body, which is called Swadharma, and duty towards the soul, which is called Bhagavad-gītā. So, the duty towards the body is maintaining the body properly, clean, neat, healthy, eat food properly, maintain the body properly, care for the body, care for the people associated with the body, like family, husband, wife, children, father, mother, all these things. You have to keep proper relationship and look after them well. So this is like Swadharma, it's our duty. Who else will do? We have created the children, now we have to look after the children, right? So who else will do? So therefore it's our duty towards the body. And the duty towards the soul is we should re-establish our connection with Krishna through chanting the holy name of Krishna, reading Bhagavad-gītā, everything. It's called Sanatana Dharma. This is our eternal duty. The other one is Swadharma, temporary duty. So, miseries of life, the life lesson was miseries of life are the symptoms of imbalance. If you are not able to balance the Swadharma and Sanatana Dharma, then you will land up in suffering. Therefore, we should pause, reflect, and balance the two. We should balance the two. We should not say there is no time for chanting and reading Bhagavad-gītā because I am busy with my Swadharma. And you cannot also say that because I am busy with Sanatana Dharma, I have no time for Swadharma. Right? We should balance it. If you balance it, then there will be no more miseries. You will become very, very happy in life. So these two duties we must never forget. Okay, from 31 to 53 slokas, it has been mentioned in Bhagavad-gītā. Please read through. Very, very important. And then the sustained happiness. For sustained happiness, what we should do? For sustained happiness, we should get a higher taste. Higher taste means what? Higher taste of performing Sanatana Dharma, Bhagavad-gītā. We should get a higher taste. When we get a higher taste, then we will have no taste for this normal temporary things. We will just take it very easy. But whereas if you don't have the higher taste, then you will suffer. You get into the 8 steps of failure. What are those 8 steps of failure we learned? Krishna is explaining in Bhagavad-gītā. There are Dhyayato Vishayan Pumsa, thoughts, meditating. When you meditate on, there are 8 steps. First one is meditation. When you meditate on the wrong thing, how to enjoy this material world, Vishaya. Dhyayato Vishayan Pumsa, on material sense gratification. When we meditate on that, then what? Dhyayato Vishayan Pumsa Sankasteshu Vajayate. From that from meditation comes Sangha. Sangha means association. If you meditate on doing unlawful activities, you will get association of thieves. If you meditate on the lawful things, you will get association with the right people, nice people. And if you, that's why we have associations, right? We have association of, we have Lions Club, Rotary Club. Most of us are like members in that. And there is also a Chamber of Commerce for development of business, right? So association is very important. When there is association, then we get more power, right? So when there is more power, then what happens? Then we can achieve things very easily. So association, Dhyayato Vishayan Pumsa. Then when you have desire for sense gratification, you get in contact with Vishayas. You get in contact with the object of the senses. When you want to see, you go there to see. When you want to hear, you go here to hear something. You go there to hear. So in this way, our senses will lead us to that. Whatever we are thinking, we are desiring, there our senses will take us. It means we get association with that. Sankasthajayate kama. When you have association with that, then you get develop desire. We must have seen somewhere, MLM, multi-level marketing system, and we get a desire to make money, and then we get introduced to MLM, and then we go to the meetings. The things they talk, the heavy, nice things they talk will inspire us more and more to work on this side and make a lot of money. But we may not be able to make that money. They may not be that easy for everybody to perform, like how they are saying. But then we think it is possible. We go and try and try and try. Finally, we will fail. We'll drop everything and go, right? So this is very dangerous. So we go associate with devotees. Then we develop more and more desire to serve Krishna. We go associate, we have wrong thoughts, and we get associated with the Vishayas, and then we get associated that we have desire, we develop more desire, Kama. Kama krodho vijayate. If the desire is not fulfilled, you get angry. And if you get angry, krodhat bhavati sammoha. When you get angry, what happens? Sammoha, you get deluded. You don't know what to do, what not to do. And sammoha smriti brahma. When there is sammoha, when there is delusion, there is a lot of smriti brahma. You forget what you want to do. You forget the aim of your life. You forget everything. Smriti brahma. Smriti brahmshat buddhi naashat. When there is smriti brahmshat, the whole buddhi, the whole intelligence get, vanished. You cannot, the intelligence won't work. Buddhi nashat pranashyati. When your buddhi is, when your intelligence is, crashed, then pranashyati, your whole life will be put into difficulty. Therefore, we should not, go step by step. These 8 steps of failure, we should not come under these 8 steps of failure. This is very dangerous. So, the 2 duties to be performed for sustained happiness. We should perform the duties, these 2 duties to be performed for sustained happiness. We will get continuous happiness. So the life lesson was there that beware of damaging thoughts, as it gets converted into cruel plans and ends up in regrettable action. And the life lesson was key to success and joy. If it performs the two duties with determination, enthusiasm, then one will be happy in this life and the next life. Third chapter dealt with, this is the second chapter. How to be happy this life and next life. Okay, this is a key to success. So we have to perform both the duties. Duty of the soul, duty of the body. Thing to remember is duty of the soul is called Sudharma. Sorry, duty of the soul is called Sanatana Dharma, and duty of the body is called Swadharma. We should perform these two very nicely by Krishna's mercy. Okay, depend on Krishna to do that. For that, you surrender to Krishna. He will teach you how to do that. You read Bhagavad-gītā, you will get to know this. This is the essence of Bhagavad-gītā, the contents of Gita summarized. In the third chapter, we saw how Krishna is talking about Karma Yoga. The Karma Yoga, the first thing is talking about renunciation, second one is Yoga ladder, third one is exemplary lifestyle, and fourth one is biggest challenge in spiritual life. To remember all these things, renunciation means what? What is true renunciation? What is the myth of renunciation? If somebody want to give up things, thinking it is temporary, without knowing the connection of Krishna, then it is myth. Somebody is saying, I remember we spoke about how we discussed about how a cat became sannyasi because he was not able to run around and catch the cat or catch the rat. And the rat thought he became a sannyasi, he came and fell at his feet. And then immediately he caught one rat and ate. See? This is not a proper renunciation, right? The true renunciation means utilize everything in the service of Krishna. We spoke about the bank employee who is sitting in the cash. He is thinking that this money is not mine. Therefore, anybody can take it and go. He will not think like that. Even though it is not his money, he will take care of it very nicely, and finally he will give the accounts properly to the bank. Right? This is proper, true renunciation. And the myth is like this. And then the real and fake. The real renunciation means he will actually not have any interest. Midhyachari, he will not be a midhyachari. Krishna explains about midhyachara in that particular shloka. He says that we should not become obsessed with not doing our duty simply out of laziness, and that is fake renunciation. And the real way of developing detachment is by getting attached to Krishna. You get attached to Krishna, like we read, the second chapter, a higher taste. You get a higher taste, then automatically you will forget the lower taste. When a child is trying to play with the knife, how do you take the knife back from the child? The child will hurt itself. The child doesn't know the knife will hurt. But then if you go and pluck it off of the child may harm himself. It may touch somewhere there and somewhere in the body, it may hurt the child. So what we do is we will make the child throw the knife by showing him something better, some nice plaything, some nice eatable, some trophy. The child will throw the knife and they will come. Similarly, we will be attached to so many things here, but then if you actually taste the nectar of Krishna consciousness, then it will be easy for you to leave all that without any difficulty. It's like how we go into the bathroom and give up, we pass a stool. We don't get attached to stool. This is so smelling. We'll try to get out of the bathroom immediately, right? We don't get attached to these things. So this kind of attachment to Krishna, when you develop attachment to Krishna, these things will become useless. Therefore, we should actually perform activities in such a way that we will develop taste for Krishna consciousness. And in the second portion, Yoga Ladder, Krishna explains, we all have two options, whether to be sinful or sinless. If you try to live sinfully, then life is very sad. Throughout life, you will have to suffer. And if you try to be sinless, then then we can have some hope of progressing and hope of having some happiness in life. Krishna is saying that out of these two people, those who are sinful people, they are called karmis, materialistic people. Come what may, they don't kill anybody, do anything, steal or borrow, beg, borrow, steal, you get to enjoy life. This is materialistic people, karmis. Other day I met one person, I was really surprised. I asked him, you have so much of debt. How are you able to be happy like this? Then he said, no, I'm in debt. Those who gave me money, they should suffer. Why I should suffer? Why I should feel bad? This is a typical example of a materialistic man. So that's a sinful life. But whereas the sinless people, they want to also enjoy, but then they will not be ruthless in enjoyment. They will follow rules, regulations mentioned in the Vedas and then try to enjoy. This is karma kanta. You do this homa, you get that benefit. You do this puja, you get this benefit. You do all that and you get the benefit and you enjoy life. And in karma yoga, there's next stage is karma yoga. You are performing karma, but you are performing karma in such a way that the activity that you are performing will connect yourself with Krishna. Yoga means yujati iti yoga, connecting yourself with yoga. That we have learned. That's when we learn the meaning of yoga. Yujate iti yoga, that which connects us to Krishna is yoga. When our activities are able to connect us to Krishna, that is called karma yoga. Not any karma is not karma yoga. There's karma kanda, karmi, all that different things are there. The sinless, when you become sinless and you try to connect yourself with Krishna by performing activity, that activity is called karma yoga. And then we learned about exemplary lifestyle. We have to set an exemplary lifestyle for others to follow. And what do we do? How do we do that? By proper behavior before teaching others. We will become exemplary. We learned. And then another big portion we learned is 36 to 43 these slokas, heavy slokas. That's the biggest challenge in our spiritual life. We don't know how to segregate between, separate the nature of love and lust. Love means when you want to do good to the people whom you are loving, that is love. When you want to exploit the person whom you are loving, that is lust. Two things we learned, right? When you want to, the closest thing, the closest example of love we can see in this material world is the mother's love towards the child. The mother expects anything out of the child. Mother is willing to undergo any kind of difficulty for the sake of the child. That is real love. Whereas, if you want to enjoy yourself out of that relationship, it's called lust. So the lust is very dangerous. And lust is, there are three different layers of lust that is covering living entities. Like sometimes it is like smoke. The fire is covered with smoke, or dust is, mirror is covered with dust, and the embryo is covered with the what do you call? Embryo is covered with the embryo is covered inside the stomach of the mother, right? So this way, the fire, you can say, when there is a wind, when the fire comes up and the thing disappears, the smoke disappears, the fire becomes very clear. Whereas the mirror stuck with dust, you have to clean and clean and clean, but still, very difficult to clean the mirror. Especially for a long time, it has been affected by dust, covered by dust. It's very difficult to remove the dust. Whereas the embryo being covered by the, suddenly I'm getting the term. So it is covered inside the stomach of the mother, in the womb of the mother. Embryo covered by the womb of the mother. That is very difficult to do. You have to come out of the womb, then only it is possible to see the world, right? So there are different degrees of lust covered us in this material world. Somebody who is seeing so much in tamoguna is like embryo covered by the womb, covered with the womb, embryo covered with the womb. If somebody is the rajoguna, it's like dust, mirror covered with the dust. And if it is somebody in sattva-guna, it is like fire being covered by the smoke. Easier to get rid of it. Get rid of that kind of a quality. And where to find the enemy and defeat? Who is the enemy? The biggest enemy is lust. It is only lust. Arjuna asked a question. Remember, He's saying, even though unwillingly I am being dragged to perform activities which I don't like. So that means it is lust only, Arjuna, Krishna explains. Only because of lust, this dragging is happening. So lust is the greatest enemy. Krishna is telling us, helping us to locate where the enemies are situated. Normally, the enemies are situated in three places. One is the senses, another one is the mind, another one is the intelligence. When the enemy of lust attacks the three places, very difficult to come out of it. So we have to defeat them by the enemy in the senses should be defeated by engaging ourselves in Krishna's service. Enemy of lust in the mind should be conquered by chanting the holy name of Krishna, and the enemy of lust in the intelligence should be conquered by reading Bhagavad-gītā and Srimad Bhagavatam, like that, associating with devotees, listening to them. So in this way, if you associate with devotees or read Bhagavad-gītā, if you make the intelligence, mind and senses, our friends, and then automatically we can do everything, but still we can be out of danger of the infection of lust. So the wrath, the anger, even the anger can be employed in Krishna's service, can be employed in a friendly manner. It's like Arjuna, how he protected his dharma through anger, right? So everything can be employed in the service of Krishna. Krishna says essentially that the mind who is controlled is your friend. The mind who is not controlled is the greatest enemy. Thus we read the chapter 3. The chapter 4, is it too condensed? I think it is too strenuous to follow. It means we can drop it. We can do it next time also. But then, summary of the chapters we are finishing some order. The chapter 4 deals with transcendental knowledge. There Krishna says, what is eternal education? And Krishna removes the misconception by his knowledge. And how to remove, Krishna is showing us how to remove the reactions. And he speaks about different types of sacrifices. And then in eternal education, Krishna is asking 3 questions, answering 3 questions. It's who can acquire this knowledge, and from whom we can acquire this, and what is it all about. And then we learned that who can acquire. Bhaktosme Akṣaya-tṛtīyā, that shloka we quoted, it said we have to be accepting, like in the previous chapter we saw, we have to open our mind. We have to open-mindedly receive the knowledge from the spiritual master. And that person can acquire knowledge. We cannot, if you close your mind, you cannot acquire any knowledge. So you should be friendly. At the same time, you should be friendly. Bhaktosi, you should be bhakta and sakha. And Arjuna was there. We discussed why Krishna selected Arjuna to be the recipient of Bhagavad-gītā is because Arjuna had both these qualities of being Krishna's friend and devotee. So we should also be friendly with Krishna. That means we should not simply disbelieve Krishna, or we should not at the outset think what is all myth. We should not think like that. Such person cannot get the knowledge. We also spoke about how, if a student wants to get knowledge, he has to have complete surrender to the Guru, right? If the teacher says, and that has to be believed by the student, otherwise the student will not get knowledge. The quality of student is he should be willing to receive the knowledge. He should not have enviousness to the Guru, right? So the teacher, from whom? From a bona fide teacher. So we saw how different grades are there. If you get a university degree, and if you say I am a doctor, if you put doctor so and so, put a board and sit down. You have heard from your grandfather something. You have read in some book something. So with that, you're going to teach, treat people. And if you put up a board and sit there, what will happen? People will come and arrest you and put you into prison. Why? Because you're a quack. You're not a proper doctor. Why you're not a proper doctor? You have read all these books. English language. All medical books are written in English. So I read English medical books which is written in English, and then I passed my own examination. That is not a proper qualification for a doctor. Similarly, from whom you will learn? You will learn from a bona fide university. You have to go to the university and learn under that discipline. Then only you will be a proper authorized doctor, right? So similarly, from whom we should learn? We should learn from a bona fide parampara. We learned about four paramparas: Brahma Sampradaya, Rita Sampradaya, Shri Sampradaya, and Kumara Sampradaya. So the four paramparas which is existing, we should accept a bona fide spiritual master in one of these paramparas and surrender to him and get this knowledge. What is it all about? It is all about, the education is all about, why I should read Bhagavad-gītā, why Krishna is coming into the material world often, and what is the reason why Krishna has to come. Krishna has to descend. It all looks odd to me if you think like that. So that means you don't know. The education means talking about why Krishna is coming to the world, why we are suffering in this material world, how can we stop this misery, how can we go back to Krishna. All that we should learn. This is the eternal education Krishna is explaining. The life lesson we learned is when Krishna has made such elaborate education system, it is our duty to search an affiliated university parampara and find the right teacher, guru. So tat vidhi pranibhadena pariprashrena sevaya. Krishna is saying we should go and surrender to a bona fide spiritual master and serve him. Then you will learn so many things. You will learn spiritual life. Krishna removes the misconception of caste system. There's a shloka in Bhagavad-gītā, in the 4th chapter, Chadurvanyam Maya System, Gunakarma Bhagasha. There are 4 kinds of orders of life, or caste system. People think a doctor's son is a doctor automatically without learning from the medical college. That is not true. All this kind of misconception Krishna is removing. That a Brahmana is a Brahmana by his activity and by his quality, not simply by birth. By birth, caste system is casted out in Bhagavad-gītā. And then Krishna is explaining all spiritual paths lead to the same destination. That's another misconception. Spiritual paths are many, but then everything won't lead to the same destination. And if you worship Devas, you will go there. Devas, if you worship Krishna, you will go to Krishna. And if you worship ghosts and goblets, you will become like that. You will start thinking like that. So it's very dangerous. So therefore, these are misconceptions. You have to worship Krishna to go back to Krishna. For as much as you have to get to the flight that goes to Delhi to reach Delhi, right? So next one was removing reactions. How do we remove the reactions? There are 3 types of karma we learn: karma, vikarma, dakarma. Karma is something pious action. With that we enjoy. We get rebirth, but then in the next birth also we enjoy life by performing pious action. Karma. What is vikarma? Karma is the action that is mentioned and recommended by the Shastras. That is called pious action. Because they are doing that, they enjoy this life and the next life. And then vikarma. In vikarma, what happens? In vikarma, you are talking again, you are doing against the principles of religion. Principles of religion and against the principles of Shastras, vikarma. Sinful action it is. Sinful action. Because you are doing something that is not authorized by the scriptures. That's sinful action. You get rebirth and you will suffer. There is something called akarma, which is executed by devotees who will not do any action for themselves. They will do only for the satisfaction of Krishna. That is akarma. And they will only enjoy, there is only enjoyment in this life, next life, and finally you go to spiritual world also. The lesson we learn from that is Krishna is not responsible for our situation, because example was given. Rain is same to rocks, ocean, fertile land. It's all impartial, but then the result is different. Similarly, Krishna's mercy is equally distributed to all living entities, because all of us are Krishna's part and parcels, but the way we utilize it, we get the situation. So karma, akarma, and vikarma we learned very nicely those days. And then Krishna talking about sacrifices, that the teacher, the bona fide spiritual master, is supposed to actually teach us how to do this. train us how to do this sacrifice. Sacrificing lower things for a higher thing. Sometimes, people don't have license, so they put a helmet. They follow one rule for breaking another bigger rule. Right? So that is not the way. Actually, sacrifice means what? Sacrifice means we have to the teacher. We have to actually get trained by the teacher in how to sacrifice, how to give up those things which are not necessary for spiritual progress. What is sacrifice? And then there in that context, Krishna is explaining that caliber is required, character is required, but without character, caliber is of no use. Somebody who may be very, very, what do you call it? They may be very mechanical brain will be very good for them. They have very good caliber, and using the caliber, what they do is they break the locks and try to steal. Caliber is there, but what's the use? No use. But if you without character, caliber is a waste. And actually, caliber will look good to you only when you have good character. What is good character? The character, the thoughts we are getting, or the action we are performing according to the instruction of the Shastra by Krishna. So the topmost sacrifice Krishna explains is to actually chant the holy name of Krishna. It is to actually learn that I am not this body. It's the topmost sacrifice. It is the topmost sacrifice is to actually sacrifice everything that is detrimental for our spiritual purpose. So chant the holy name of Krishna is best sacrifice. Vijnanam javayagnyosmi, we read that means. And then life lesson we learn from that is life sustaining things are easily available. Oxygen, water and spirituality. Learn to value them. You should value them. This is Bhagavad-gītā. Value Bhagavad-gītā's teachings and try to put that into our practice, in our life. That would be great. And this 5th chapter dealt with be like a lotus leaf and 3 doers. Yesterday, the 2nd chapter we learned there are 2 duties, right? 2 types of duties. What is that? Swadharma and Sanatana Dharma. In the 5th chapter we are saying there are 3 types of doers with an equal vision. Introduction to Ashtanga Yoga and peace formula. These things were discussed. 5 things were discussed in this particular chapter, 5th chapter. Karma Yoga, action in Krishna consciousness. Krishna is saying, be like a lotus leaf. What is a lotus leaf? Lotus leaf means, lotus leaf is inside the water, but on the top of lotus leaf, if you put water, it doesn't get wet. Similarly, we are within this material world, and we should not get wet by the sinful effects of this material world. And there were 3 steps to be like a lotus leaf that we have learned. What are those three steps? I hope you remember this. The 3 steps is, we should actually perform the activities without any detachment to the material world. And we should actually know we are part and parcel of Krishna. So this way we can be like a lotus leaf. And then the 3 doers were the body, soul and super soul. The body explains about 9 gates, 2 ears, 2 nostrils, 2 eyes, 1 mouth, genital and anus. So body is like a city with 9 gates. We explained city of 9 gates. And the soul and body, with body only we can perform. And soul, with the soul only we can perform. If the soul is not there, how can the body perform? The soul has to be inside. Jivatma is the doer. The desire belongs to the soul and the body performs it. Just like, so you cannot say that why soul is getting, reactions. Because it is soul's desire that is performed by the body. Therefore, the soul gets the reaction. Atma, soul means Jivatma. And then super soul, Paramatma, without his sanction, without his support, he cannot do anything in this material world. So Paramatma sanctions, and soul desires, and body performs. The 3 doers. And that life lesson was like inequality is a result of one's own choice. We have so many different choices. And if you find yourself suffering, that's because of your sinful activities. You have not decided properly, you have not used the body properly. Leave for the proper actions. Two, the laws of nature are very stringent. Police from within. We cannot escape the laws of nature. Because the nature is external energy of Krishna. You cannot escape it. You desire it, you perform it, you will get the reaction from it. And then the third one is Lord is blameless. You cannot blame the Lord for anything. He acts only as a facilitator, super soul. It's also we have learned. Equal vision means we have learned how, with respect to us, with respect to others, with respect to the Krishna, how we have equal vision, all that. In effect of it, and implications, all that we have learned. How learned sage will see everyone with equal vision, what that we have learned, right? And then introduction to Ashtanga Yoga we read. Now that we have introduction to Ashtanga Yoga was in two shlokas, and which mentioned that how the previous one we read that shloka. Vidya Vinaya Sampanne Brahmane Gavihastini Suni Kaicha Shabhakecha Pandita Samadarshina. So that shloka was there. In Ashtanga Yoga, Krishna is explaining how one should perform Ashtanga Yoga. What we are going to see in the 6th chapter, Krishna is explaining the 5th chapter itself. How one should sit straight line and we should, meditate, look at the tip of the nose and meditate on the Supreme Lord on that. Then peace formula, Krishna is explaining how no peace, no God, no peace, no God. Right? So understand God the way He wants us to understand. How He wanted us to understand? Bhaktaram Nityadavasam Sarvaloka Maheshwaram. He is the enjoyer of all the 3 worlds. And Sarvaloka Maheshwaram is the owner, he is the proprietor. Suhudam Sarvabhudanam, he is the front of all living entities. Yatva Mam Shanti Marchari. In this way, you will get peace. This is the peace formula. Yatva Mam Shanti Marchari. If you know God in this way, the way He wants us to know Him, that He is the enjoyer of all sacrifices and everything, and He is the proprietor of the entire world, and He is the front of all living beings. These three things, if you know, you are saved, you will be peaceful in life. Your actions will be guided according to this mode. So, 6th chapter speaks about mind, enemy, and friend. Mind, enemy, or friend. And speaks about Ashtanga Yoga, destination of an unsuccessful yogi, and topmost yogi. Who is a topmost yogi? The previous one said who is the topmost yoga system and topmost sacrifice. Now he is saying what is topmost yogi. So in we got introduced to the demon and demoniac nature. So mind can be a demon or mind can be divine, based on how you train them. Nature of mind, we learn about nature of mind. The nature of mind is very, 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 very flimsy. Mind, you cannot control the mind. Very difficult to overcome the influence of the mind. The mind is always chanchala, it's always flickering. The mind can take you to hell, or mind can take you to heaven, or even the mind can take you to a spiritual world. It all depends how you treat the mind. We learned, and we actually redefined the yoga in that. Yoga is how to connect our mind, connect ourselves with Krishna. And when we connect ourselves with Krishna, all the thing in between, like mind, intelligence, body, ego, everything will fall in line. So that connection is missing. The primary connection of ourselves with Krishna is missing. So that is the purpose of yoga. Yunjade yoga, that Krishna has explained very nicely. What is yoga? It is not simply meant for our physical well-being or our more enjoyment or long life or anything. It is meant for connecting ourselves with Krishna. So the lesson is, I am not this body, I am not this mind also. By Lord's grace, I can control the mind, because I am above the mind and body. I will be able to control the body and mind if I want to, by the grace of Krishna. And then Ashtanga Yoga is mentioned. Krishna explains about 8-step Ashtanga Yoga process, the practices. Arjuna is blankly telling it is very difficult for me to perform. I am not able to do it. Life lesson was that multitasking is actually reducing our attention span. And success comes from focus, not by dividing it. You have to focus on yoga. Then only you will be successful in yoga. Don't spam your mind. Unnecessarily don't put things on your mind. Because the more you occupy the memory of your mind with unnecessary things, unwanted things, the less you will be able to understand Krishna. So you keep all this spam away from the mind. That's what we learned in Ashtanga Yoga. The whole purpose of Ashtanga Yoga is for doing that. And the destination of an unsuccessful yogi, Arjuna was confused. He said, if a person is not able to fulfill or reach the ultimate aim of yoga system, when he falls from that advanced position, what will happen to him? He falls from, what will happen to a person who falls from the beginner's position? Krishna is saying there is no loss or diminution in this effort. And even if you fall down from your position, but still you will actually retain what you have done. Sarpamapyasya dharmasya trayate mahadodaya. We learned that in spirituality, it is a win-win situation always. Whether we fall down or advance, in every way you are getting to actually gain in life. So there's no worry. He says that Krishna said that those who are unsuccessful yogis will get further chance to progress in their spiritual life. And then the topmost yogi is a person who abides in Krishna, think of Krishna within himself, and renders service unto Krishna. And a topmost yogi will always abide in Krishna. He will always listen to Krishna. He will always chant the holy name of Krishna. He will always follow the instruction of Krishna. And he thinks of Krishna within himself by chanting the holy name always, and he renders service to Krishna in so many different ways. That's called Bhakti Yoga. Then we studied about the 5 kinds of relationships. Ended there, Shanta, Dasya, Sakhya, Vatsalya, Madhurya. These are the things that we learned. We have covered 6 chapters, and another 6 chapters we can cover in the next session. So thank you very much for patiently listening. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. If you have any questions or comments, you can ask.
Excuse me, sir. Can I show you something? Hare Krishna.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna. Excuse me, sir. Can I show you something?
Not now. We are finally, okay, towards the end.
Okay.
Show you something. What is it? You will ask me doubts, first preferences or doubt?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, can you send the photos of this class?
Photos of this class. I will try.
Okay,
try to share.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yes.
Prabhuji, this is regarding you are saying that we should always take knowledge from a learned person and all. So, but Ekalavya did it without like a guru. So, how do you explain this to us, Prabhuji? Like, I mean, I didn't understand that part.
Because it has to be mentioned here, Krishna specifically mentions that Tad Vidhi Pranipadana Pariprasnena Sevaya. You cannot steal knowledge. If you steal knowledge, then what happens? All aspects of the knowledge cannot be conveyed to that person. So therefore, it is not considered to be proper. Just like you know English, and medical books are written in English. You buy all medical books and learn from the house. You will not become a bona fide student, doctor, right? Why? Because you have not disciplined yourself accordingly. So you have to learn from the spiritual master directly. Because otherwise, the spiritual master will not have an opportunity to guide the student properly. So Ekalavya has seen the activities and he has he is trying to learn that technique by vision. But what Arjuna was taught, under which situation you should not use this weapon, under which situation you should use this weapon, all this is part of this knowledge. It is not that only if you know the practicals, you are all right. So the person who does not know the principle behind is very dangerous. The same knowledge can kill him. Therefore, we should actually surrender to Guru. That's why Krishna is saying surrender to Guru and learn from him submissively. Don't steal from him the knowledge. You will not understand all aspects of it. Okay. Right.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you so
Right.
much.
Right. Yeah.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Pranam.
Ambarish, Mishra, Jimmy.
Prabhuji, this is Narayani. I'm using my laptop. So my question is, how come people are taking rebirth? Also, they're enjoying and continuously suffering.
There is akarma, vikarma, and karma. When you perform activity that is mentioned in the when I will tell you in a very simple manner, when you do an activity according to your parents' instruction, then you will suffer or enjoy. You will enjoy, right? You will enjoy. You will enjoy the love of parents. You will enjoy the good effects of the activity because the parents will never advise wrongly to the children. So, if you follow, that's called karma. You are performing according to the instruction of parents, right? According to the instruction of Shastra, Krishna, they are performing, that is karma. And what is vikarma? Not listening to the father and mother and simply doing the way we want to do it, just opposite of it. And then you will suffer or enjoy.
Suffer.
You will suffer. You will suffer what? You will suffer both the result of your activity as well as you will suffer because of the anger or the wrath of the parents, right? They will also punish you, right? And but you perform activities. See, this is akarma and vikarma. There is one more concept called akarma. Akarma means if you do every activity only for the sake of Krishna, and there is nothing in it for you. Everything is, whether it is good or bad, everything is for the sake of Krishna. And that we are performing according to the instruction of our Guru. This is called akarma. Remember, I explained about, to the physics students can understand, I told you that, displacement. Force into displacement is the work done, right? So you are continuously pushing a wall whole day. The wall is not moving 1 inch. According to physics, you have not done any work, right? So similarly, you do all activities in the material world, but everything was not meant for you. It is meant for Krishna's creation. And then that's called akarma. Akarma, by performing akarma, you can go back to Krishna. You will go to spiritual life. You are further, because you have not performed any activity for yourself, there is no karma involved, there is no next birth. You will go back to Krishna.
Also, Prabhuji, one more question. How can you say the mind will take to heavenly kingdom, spiritually planet, or in lower modes?
Because the mind is properly trained, the trained mind can help you remembering Krishna, which will take you to Krishna. The trained mind can help you think about good things and do good things. Even if you are taking birth again, you will get a better birth, right? But the enemy mind will not allow you to think of it, will not allow you to do good. So therefore, your next life will be hell. Suffering will be.
Prabhuji, I have a question.
Yeah.
So, whatever karma we do, is it merely based on actions or intentions? Because sometimes we do act in certain way, but our intentions will not be. Those will not be good, or those will not be bad actually. But the actions we will be forced to do in a certain way.
It's a combination of both intention and activity. If the activity is say the intention, I did not know this is poison. My intention was to quench my thirst, but that was poison. That act will actually kill me. Even though my intention was to quench my thirst, the act will kill me, right? So it's a combination of both. the action and intention. If you, with a good intention, if you act wrongly, then also you will suffer. So you should perform the activity with good activity with good intention. That's a combination that will save you from this material world.
Okay. Thank you.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yes.
I just have a question. You
Yeah.
told that Krishna selected Arjuna to preach Bhagavad-gītā because of certain qualities. Why would it not be Karna?
It was because Arjuna was a devotee and friend of Krishna. Karna was not a devotee and friend. Because if you talk your confidential, will you ever talk your confidential things to your enemy? Will you ever talk to a person who is not your friend? You will not reveal yourself to an enemy or another unknown person, right? But if somebody is your friend, you will reveal yourself. You will be confident to reveal yourself, right? Similarly, because Arjuna is his friend, after hearing the whole thing, Arjuna will say, I don't think this is correct. Then you will not speak to him anymore, right? So there's no use talking to him. So, but Krishna knew very well, Arjuna will take it seriously and he will follow because it is good for him, good for everybody. So Krishna knew that, so Krishna spoke to Arjuna. Krishna could not speak to Karna because Karna was on the side of adharma. Why would he speak to another person? Krishna actually tried speaking to Karna so much. Krishna went personally to Karna and told him, Karna, you are a person who is a very good person, who will not do any adharma. But then why are you standing on the side of adharma? Then Karna said, no. In a situation where I was put into difficulty, Duryodhana helped me. Because of which I will have to support Duryodhana. Friendship is more than dharma, adharma for me. So because he got a wrong friend for whom he dedicated, because of which he went away from Krishna. He was not a person who was doing dharma, right? So how can he support a person who is doing dharma? In fact, Krishna came and went and told him, right? At least at that time he should have changed himself. Therefore, Krishna did not do it further. Knowing that somebody is like that, why he would go and speak to him again and again? Please listen to me, Karna, please listen to me. Why he would say that? It's a waste of time. So, but Arjuna was ready to receive, right? So why he should not speak to Arjuna? Therefore, these two qualities are important we learned. Bhaktosme Sakacheti. I am worried that you may not have understood this when I spoke. I told that these two qualities enabled Arjuna to be the recipient of Bhagavad-gītā. What are those two qualities? Arjuna was a friend as well as a devotee, willing to surrender to Krishna. Like if you go to a teacher and you ask her to teach mathematics. When she's teaching mathematics, you are saying, no, the other teacher was much better than you. You looks like you don't know anything. You say that, will the teacher teach you anymore? Nothing.
But Prabhuji, at a certain situation,
It is not the mistake of the teacher. You are not receiving it.
yes,
Hello?
yes, Prabhuji, I can hear you. But at a situation, Prabhuji, since Pandavas criticize Karna, how can you tell that Arjuna had a good quality? If he had a good quality, then he should have certainly supported Karna, isn't it?
Not like that. There are so many things. One is connected with the other. Just like if you suddenly take a novel and read from, Act 2, Scene 3, you will not be able to know what has happened before and what's going to happen after. But Krishna knows everything from beginning till end. So therefore, it was not because therefore we don't know actually what actually Arjuna has done. See, it is a duty of a person who is following dharma to be also following dharma, right? Suppose if somebody is supposed to protect dharma, he is supposed to do dharma also, right? So when nobody knew who Karna was, is that anybody's fault? It is nobody's fault. And suddenly this Duryodhana is bringing somebody. Duryodhana had many friends with him. Those who are, unscrupulous people. Duryodhana had many friends because Duryodhana was having a bad mind. He was having many bad friends with him. So he brought up somebody like Karna all of a sudden from nowhere. And then, then they would say within the family matters, an outsider is banned to involve. So this is something family matters that is happening. This is something that is happening within the realm of Kshatriyas who are actually ruling the country, and another person who doesn't have any address, he should not come inside and step inside. He should not show the audacity, even though he is capable. A gentle person will come in only when he is invited, right? You will not suddenly, you may be a great singer, but then if you go to a marriage ceremony and start, grabbing the mic and singing,
Prabhuji, Prabhuji, I have a question. Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Prabhuji. ये आती मैंने आपके बिना नहीं सुना.
Prabhuji, I will.
Prabhuji. Shall we leave the meeting in case Prabhuji is not here?
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, I have a question, Prabhu.
Yeah, sorry, for some time I went out of coverage area.
No problem, Prabhuji. I have a question, Prabhuji.
Tell me.
How can we control our mind, Prabhuji? Because the mind is allowing us to think of something else.
Not possible to control. That's what Arjuna said. It is impossible to control the mind. Therefore, Krishna is saying, give positive engagement to the mind. Give your mind positive engagement. Chanting the holy name of Krishna and rendering service to Krishna. How to do? If you keep, you have learned maybe in the school, you learned saying that idle mind is devil's worship, right? So similarly, we should have positive engagement to the mind. Controlling the mind doesn't mean binding the mind to something else. No. It is by positive engagement. That is why the whole yoga system is developed. So it's mentioned the greatest yoga in Kali Yuga is to simply chant the holy name of Krishna. This way your mind will be automatically controlled. You don't have to put any extraneous effort to control the mind. You always engage yourself in positive activities. Like you learn, you study, you play, anything you do, you have a purpose for doing it. That's how you control it. Right?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Good. Thank you for asking intelligent questions, Narayani. Anybody else?
How to ensure that not to spam our mind, Prabhuji?
Not to spam our mind. Don't take unnecessary things to the heart. Means somebody is, we are going, we have a friend. That friend is coming across, and we are going this way. Just telling you an example. And that friend is thinking of something else. He did not see you, or he did not notice you, or he was thinking of something more serious. And then you immediately think, see, that fellow did not think about me. That fellow did not smile at me. That fellow did not do this to me. See, that fellow is very bad. And telling few friends, see, that fellow is a useless fellow. And finally, when you come to know that, he was going in an emergency, sorry, and when he says, you will feel regretting. My God, why did I think like that about this person? You will think like that, right? So we should not unnecessarily conclude things on our own. We should not unnecessarily take so many things in our mind. We should see everybody as good people. Then things will go very smoothly. And if you think that person is a bad person, this person is a good person, this person is a good person, we start discriminating, then our mind gets disturbed and our mind gets spammed. What happens if in your mobile, if you get too many messages, somebody is continuously sending 50 photos a day, then what will happen? Your mobile will get spammed, right? It will stop functioning because there's a limit to which you can hold. So that limit is gone means you are finished. Similarly, you should not simply take unnecessary things to your head. And we should simply live small things. Oh, that person said this to me. I will never forget. 10 years back, this fellow told that to me. Forget it here. Life is too short to think about all these nonsense. Just keep, because you will not have time to think of Krishna, right? Positive things will get affected. Will be in what do you call emergency. They say casualty. You should not put Krishna into casualty. Yes, Mridula.
I am Kishan.
Kirtan, chant. You want to chant?
Nenam Chinnaki Dattani. Nenam Daiki Bhavaka. Nachenam Klera and Chapo. Nachochayetu Marutaha.
Very good, very good. Thank you.
Prabhuji, I will recite one sloka.
Yes. You can answer.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, thank you.
ध्यायतो विषयान् पुंसः सङ्गत्येषु पजायते सङ्गात् सञ्जायते कामः कामात् क्रोधो विजायते.
Yes, very nice. Okay.
Dasavtara Stotram. Can I say?
Thank you. Thank you. Nice. So can you
Dasavtara Stotram. Can I say?
no, not now. Now somebody else wanted to show something in it. What is that?
Yes, sir. I have 2 Krishna books.
Krishna books, huh?
This is one of them,
Ah,
and this is one more.
nice. Thank you. Thank you. Read that. Krishna book is so nice.
Yes,
Complete
Prabhuji,
story.
I will
You
read.
like reading that? You like reading that book, Krishna book?
Yes, sir.
Very nice. Okay. Thank you. Hare
Prabhuji,
Krishna.
one shloka to recite.
Yeah. Okay.
Janma karma same devya evam yo vyakti tatvaha tatad akriti neti bhavati so Arjuna.
Super. Super. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
That's 4.9.
Yeah.
Prabhuji, I have one doubt.
Yeah.
I have unexpectedly created one WhatsApp group of all of to read Bhagavad-gītā 5 slokas a day.
Ah.
Is it good or wrong? My friend said I created one group and I forwarded to all the people.
You have the copy of Srila Prabhupada's Bhagavad-gītā?
Yeah,
And then
yeah,
read from that. It's very good, very nice of you. Thank
yeah.
you.
I have created one group. All
Wonderful,
I have to
wonderful.
read. Is it good or wrong? I don't know.
It's good. It is good, very good. What you have learned, you can share with people. Okay. And if you have any doubt, you can clarify in our group, WhatsApp group. And then when you have a doubt, don't present. So when you read Bhagavad-gītā, you have a doubt about thing, you ask, clarify, and then present. That is very good. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay,
Hare
Prabhuji.
Krishna. Thank you
so
for
much.
doing that. Krishna will be very pleased with you for preaching Bhagavad-gītā. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. You have trained your children also very nicely.
Is the meeting now?
Yeah, she learned 55 slokas and Brahma Samhita also 10 slokas.
Thank you.
Dashavataram Stotram also she is learning.
Prabhuji, are you leaving the meeting now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Everybody has gone. Only 9 of us are there. So let us also leave.
Bye, Prabhuji.
We'll see.